I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Welcome to Rice TVX. On today's Rice Report, we're going to be talking about the total collapse of the banking system that is coming, that is happening, that is underway. Give me a 5x5 if you can hear me loud and clear. And make sure you smash that like button, as it does help other people to be able to find these live streams of the YouTube algorithm, as well as making sure you are subscribed here at Rice TVX and my other channel, Rice Against the Grain. Before we get into it, take time to visit my website at ricetvx.com. There you can sign up for my mailing list so you can stay up to date on all things Rice. Once you've signed up for my mailing list, you will find links for my channels and socials towards the top of the website. Make sure you are subscribed to both of my YouTube channels, Rice Against the Grain and Rice TVX. If you want to support my work directly, as well as get early access, exclusive content for both channels, plus more, join my Patreon. And as always, before we begin, a few quick messages from the sponsors of Rice TVX who make it possible for me to bring this content to you full time. You can always find information in every video description for pre-search and for Monarch Wallet. I also wanted to share that I have recently partnered up with ITM Trading. So if you want to schedule a gold and silver strategy call to build your wealth shield and support Rice TVX, be sure to use my specific landing page that you see on the screen, and I will also include custom Calendly links and an 800 number that you can utilize to schedule your strategy call with the ITM trading professionals. And again, it is a way to support Rice TVX. All right, let me get this stuff off a screen. I do appreciate everybody for taking time to tune in for today's live stream. Tomorrow, we have the Federal Reserve FOMC meeting. I do have a very special speech from Jerome Powell that I'll be sharing here in just a little bit. Make sure you're taking advantage of that free strategy call with ITM Trading. I will have information scrolling across the bottom of the screen with the 866 number, with the Calendly link and the landing page, which you can find at learn.itmtrading.com/RiceTVX. Take advantage of that free gold and silver strategy call. Let them know that Rice TVX sent you. Appreciate you guys tuning in for today's video. The first thing that I'm going to share for you real quick, this comes earlier today. This comes from Janet Yellen. You know, we are in the middle of watching this collapse take place. I do appreciate everybody for taking the time and tuning in. I want to go ahead and shout out everybody who's in here. Aaron Knudsen, thanks for tuning in. Dime Bar, good to see you as always. XRP, Tiny Papa Boater Hoke XRP, interesting name. Thank you for the 5x6. Thank you for the 5. And Graham Cox, good seeing you, man. Definitely the perfect storm. Buck shot 420. Excuse me, about burp there. I had a little burp, actually. Buck shot 24. Thank you for tuning in. Hazley Jane, it's always good seeing you. Thank you for tuning in as always. A1, thank you. Pathfinder, is great to see everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys take time to smash that like button because, again, it does, or it's supposed to help with the algorithm. It's supposed to bring attention to the channel, everything that we're doing here. So make sure you take time, smash that like button. Much appreciated, fam. Much love. So the first thing that I'm going to share is a clip taken today. Janet Yellen was speaking. Trying to remember exactly what it was she was speaking at. Let me see here. Janet Yellen. It was some sort of conference event. And it may say it in the article, but it had something to do with banking. So I do have an article that I'll be sharing here in just a moment, but I want to share this clip real quick. Again, when I say the banking collapse is coming, this is just the beginning. The backstop, the bailout, whatever you want to call it, that took place for SVB Bank, Signature, and more that weren't really mentioned publicly, is just a beginning. Listen right now to what Janet Yellen, former Fed chair, now head of our U.S. Treasury, had to say today.
Almost 2 weeks ago, we learned of problems at two banks that could have had significant impacts on the broader banking system and the economy. The situation demanded a swift response. In the days that followed, the federal government delivered just that: decisive and forceful actions to strengthen public confidence in the U.S. banking system and protect the American economy. Our intervention was necessary to protect the broader U.S. banking system, and similar actions could be warranted if smaller institutions suffered deposit runs that posed the risk of contagion.
So as you can see, we have these things are going to continue happening. There's going to be more backstops for more banks that have the potential for contagion. And we'll talk about that more with the articles that I'm going to be sharing on today's video. Again, I do appreciate everybody taking the time to tune in. I do have a very special epic speech from Jerome Powell, the current Fed chair, that I will be sharing here in just a little bit. So make sure you stay tuned for that portion of the video because it will be coming up right now. Make sure you head over to ricetvx.com and sign up for my mailing list. You'll find links for both of my channels and all of my socials. So the first thing that we're going to share, and I'm not going to be going over the entirety of the articles as always, I encourage you, the viewer, to do a deeper dive. Read these more in their entirety if you choose to do more research. I just want to provide some basic information to build a story here so that you can see exactly what is going on. So this was reported on March 18th, 2023. Now, before I continue, I just want to make sure everything is going good. And I should have done this before I went in. We do have the right mic selected. Good. Okay. Just want to make sure everything was good with the stream quality, good with the sound quality. Again, I really appreciate you. Only 168 banks, XRP Tiny Papa says. That's just a portion of it. But yeah. And we're talking about more major banks, not necessarily your smaller regional banks, your local banks. And we're not even talking about credit unions because they're not in the equation here. So this article is reported on March 18, 2023 from Fox Business. Study finds 186 banks vulnerable to SVB-like collapse. The study created a scenario where half of 186 banks depositors withdrew their funds. Now, I've spoken in other videos, the amount of money that we have in the banking system, and this is just Q3 of last year. So this would have been between like in the months of August, September, July, August, September, I believe is when this would have been for Q3 for 2022. That was 19.36 trillion. There is no way in the world that the FDIC can insure all that. And we'll be covering more in that on today's video. So this is another article. Now, if you want to read this article, you can. It's a lot of repetitive information. Senator Kennedy says SVB bailout could have been avoided. But we allowed for these things to take place. And this is what was said in the study, even if only half of uninsured depositors decided to withdraw, almost 190 banks are at a potential risk of impairment to insured depositors, with potential 300 billion of insured depositors at risk, the study abstract reads. If uninsured deposit withdrawals cause even small fire sales, substantially more banks are at risk. And this is, in my opinion, all about consolidation of the banking sector, getting rid of these smaller banks and allowing for your JP Morgan, your Bank of America, your Fidelity, your institutions like that to come in and swoop up these institutions and grow even bigger. That took place during the last financial crisis we had in 2007 and 2008, and it's taking place again. And we'll talk more about that here in a moment. So the next thing that I wanted to share, pretty much same information in this Yahoo Finance article. Close to 190 banks could face SVB's fate, according to a new study. Now, what I wanted to highlight from this, a lot of this right here is very repetitive in both articles, but what I wanted to highlight was how did SVB collapse? And that's a good question. What exactly was going on at this bank that caused problems? Because this isn't always what the news reports. When I say news, your mainstream news, your news on television, your NBC, CBS, CNN, you're not seeing a lot of this being reported factually. So in the case of Santa Clara-based SVB, the Silicon Valley Bank, which held most of the assets in U.S. government bonds, the market value of its bonds went down when interest rates started to go up. I'll repeat. The market value of its bonds that it bought went down when the interest rate started going up. That's because most bonds pay a fixed interest rate that becomes more attractive if interest rates fall, driving up demand and the price of the bond. However, when interest rates rise, the low fixed interest rate paid by a bond is no longer attractive to investors. The timing coincided with the financial difficulties many of the bank's customers, largely tech startups, are dealing with, forcing them to withdraw their deposits. In addition, SVB had a disproportional share of uninsured funding, with only 1% of the bank having higher uninsured leverage. The paper notes combined losses and uninsured leverage provide incentives for SVB uninsured depositor run. Again, all this information is linked down below in the video description. The other thing you guys might have been hearing about, Credit Suisse bond holding blast, insane UBS takeover against the law. This is on New York Post from March 21st of 2023. Investors who purchased $17 billion worth of Credit Suisse bonds were outraged after Swiss regulators approved a $3.2 billion rescue by rival UBS that left them holding the bag. Holders of so-called AT1 or additional Tier 1 bonds purchased through Credit Suisse were shocked to learn that their investments were wiped out in the deal, a move that some claim is illegal. In my eyes, this is against the law. Patrick Kaufman, a fund manager at Aquila Asset Management, a firm that invests in AT1 bonds. The shotgun wedding sale of the 166-year-old Credit Suisse to its historic arch enemy is the latest shock to the global system. Again, consolidation. Consolidation. The next article comes from CNN Business. This was reported on March 20th, 2023. Global banking crisis. One big problem down, too many others left to go. So this is talking a little bit more about Credit Suisse, but the thing that I wanted to highlight was, well, let's go ahead and get these next three articles. or next 3 paragraphs. In the United States, the banking crisis began nearly 2 weeks ago with the sudden collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank over a 3-day span that sent shockwaves through the global banking system. Regional banks with similar profiles to SVB, including First Republic Bank, PacWest, and Western Alliance, have teetered on the brink over the past few weeks. I'm trying to say ancient for whatever reason. Anxious customers have pulled tens of billions of dollars in cash from the smaller banks and placed them with bigger institutions that are better capitalized. To pay customers to withdraw, regional banks have scrambled to access enough cash. First Republic received a $70 billion loan from JP Morgan a week ago, and another $300 billion lifeline from a consortium of 11 banks organized by U.S. regulators on Thursday. That still appears to be insufficient, with First Republic shares tumbling another 30% on Friday. It's getting crazy. So there's more to this article that you're more than welcome to read. But what's really interesting, as I mentioned, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon leading efforts to craft new First Republic Bank rescue plan. This goes back into the consolidation that I was talking about. If you guys are interested in learning about cryptocurrency and you need a little bit of help, I am offering consultations. I do have information scrolling across on the bottom of the screen with information how you can contact me and schedule a one-on-one or group consultation. It's not financial advice, but I'll tell you everything you know to get started to protect yourself and your wealth. And again, if you are enjoying this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you do take time to smash that like button. And I would encourage you once more to make sure you're heading over to Rice TVX, sign up for my mailing list so you don't miss any updates on all things Rice. Now, what's interesting about this, I was talking about consolidation, bigger banks accumulating smaller banks. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon leading efforts to crafting new First Republic Bank rescue plans. Big bank leaders are discussing a capital infusion in troubled lender. I don't have a subscription to Wall Street Journal, but I wanted to share this information, just show you this article because there is obviously something going on. Because from the previous article, you can see that First Republic received $70 billion. $70 billion loan from JP Morgan a week ago and another $300 million lifeline from a consortium of 11 banks organized by U.S. regulators on Thursday. But it still seems to be insufficient, with First Republic shares tumbling another on Friday. Now, today is the 21st. This article was updated yesterday on the 20th. This article right here from the Wall Street Journal, I believe it came out today. No, it came out yesterday evening. So that is the last information that I've seen on that. Now, before we get into it, I did want to let you know that I had a very epic special speech by Jerome Powell that I'm going to go ahead and share. And while I'm doing that, I want to plug my computer in because my power will run out and the stream will continue without me and I'll have to jump back in. And we don't want that to happen. At least I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is play that epic speech from Jerome Powell. It's a leaked speech that I wanted to share with you today.
Good morning. First off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim. I am here today, despite the blackout before FOMC, to tell you regards not to pump the market. If you pump the market, I will have to bitch slap you on Wednesday. Let me take this opportunity to tell you that I already sold at the top, and me and my fellow Fed buddies are looking to get back in long once the market bottoms at 3,600. Yeah, that's the JPM collar put leg for those of you keeping track at home. Me and Jamie Dimon planned for this. So if you WSB twats pump the market Monday and Tuesday because you've been listening to Jam Crossant and Believe in Vanna and Charm Flows, I'm going to put on my Walker mask and come fuck your moms on Wednesday. Also, we are going to bail out the banks, but you fuckwads better not pump the stock market on this news. Okay, enough. I gotta go. I got an appointment. Nick from Wall Street Journal is coming over to suck my dick for some scoops. Always remember, fuck your puts, fuck your calls. Jay Powell has you by the balls. God bless my money printer.
Look, the bottom line is this. Americans can rest assured that our banking system is safe. Your deposits are safe.
I'm sure you're sleeping sound at night because President Biden has told you that you can rest assured everything is safe. The banking system is safe and your deposits are safe. Why would they be coming out and saying this? Why would they be talking about continuing to do more backstops, especially if the contagion continues? So I'm going to come back to the articles in just a moment. I'm going to real quickly take some time to go through the live chat, which I do appreciate each and every one of you who are taking the time to tune in for today's video. I will have information scrolling across the bottom of the screen about my partnership with ITM Trading, so you can take advantage of that. Again, thank you for joining me. Let me scroll up and see where we left off. All righty here. I think I got it. So yeah, I did. I think I pulled up A1 Pathfinder. Good to see you in the house. Misko, it's always a pleasure. Gulag, good seeing you. Yellen, aka Yellow Stain, has Down syndrome. She's definitely old and shouldn't be in her position. And there's been a couple of things recently where she's had to respond to questions, answer questions, and I don't really think she was very prepared and didn't really help her look as intelligent as she probably is. I mean, again, she was a former Fed chair and she's currently the head of the Treasury, U.S. Treasury. So she's not an idiot, but she's definitely part of the government, which I'm not a fan of, as you know. Craig F., thanks for tuning in. It's definitely inherently evil. Patriot Dino, better dig my gold and silver coins up. Yeah, make sure you're taking advantage of that partnership with ITM Trading. Again, I got information scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Sam Bankman-Fried's back in the house. It's time for me to buy a bank. Let me know when you do. And if you want to come on the show for an interview, Sam Bankman-Fried, the invitation is always open. I may hit you up with some hard-hitting questions, but I'm sure you're going to be prepared for that, and I'm sure you're ready for it if you come on Rice TVX. Chris VW112, poor sickly contagious banks. Definitely poor sickly contagious banks. Craig F, maybe we should demand the banks take it to PCR test. Collapse? No, it's not. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Aussie Crypto. Chrissy Grubbs, good seeing you in the house. Be good if you ever hit me up and we can hang out locally. I'm going to be starting to do some meetups if you would like to participate, so definitely hit me up. Buckshot 24, Midas, Johnny Midas, thanks for joining. Craig F, same thing that goes on at all banks, 100%. Henry Bob, it's a pleasure seeing you, man. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. Craig F, definitely is fraud. DB in a house, if you get a bond, the short-term bonds have higher rates of return than a 10-year bond and the longer bonds, which is insane. Why would someone invest in long-term bonds right now? It's completely backwards. I agree. And that's what you call the inverted yield curve. It is when the 2-year bond is yielding more or the same as a 10-year bond. Generally, it's yielding more. Gary Guzzler, Gary's Guzzler is in the house. Did you say credit unions are not affected or just not affected differently? Credit unions are not covered under FDIC insurance from my understanding. Now, let me just double check that real quick here. Are credit unions, it already comes up. Just like bank, credit unions are federally insured. However, credit unions are not insured by the FDIC. Instead, the National Credit Union Administration, the NCUA, is the federal insurer of credit unions, making them just as safe as traditional banks. So that's what it was. It wasn't that they didn't have insurance. They don't have FDIC insurance specifically. Hope that answers your question, Gary. You should have known that. DB, thank you, man. Definitely share and subscribe and smash that like button. Hit that like, thumbs up, just like Gary said right here. Sovereignty, Jamie Dimon was a major actor in the 2008 fiasco, still going strong, like many of the last gang. Yeah, he's part of the club, and he's definitely going to be. He's in the chosen few. J.P. Morgan. They've been around for a long time. It all started with the man himself, J.P. Morgan. Credit unions are covered under their own plan. Exactly. Sam Bankman-Fried. Gary, I want my money. I will love to have both you guys on the show. Let me know if you guys are going to tune in. I can't answer that question for you, Hazley, if they are fractional reserve. Anybody else knows, definitely, let us know here in the chat. Last time banks got bailed out, the gift triggered the banks through share bonuses. Yes, we pay, they get bonuses. Hazley, appreciate it again. Definitely rolling on the floor. Thank you for tuning in. That's the real Jerome Powell. That is the real Jerome Powell. You would know. You've been listening. Just got back home. Hope everyone's day is going freaking great. I don't know. Maybe I need to get my reading glasses on. In about a month, I'll be 48. And yeah, it's getting to be that time. It was later in the day. My eyes are getting worse, but these are some bifocals. All right, so let's see here. I think I can read the rest. All right. A1, it's definitely a real speech. It's 100% legit. And I'll play it again at the end of the video. Your deposits are safe with the FTX. Much love and gratitude from Scotland as always. I appreciate you, Gnosis Path. Thank you. Thank you again, Hazley. You definitely got to be nice to people, especially people with mental disabilities and mental health issues. Not that that's a mental health issue. Biden has some totally legit intel there. Totally. Not sure what meetup you're talking about, Misko, but you're more than welcome to message me and let me know. He just really said that. Just got here. Hope everyone's having a great day. Good to see you, my friend. I appreciate you tuning in. Sean C. from New World Crypto TV. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Let me see here. I got this information scrolling across the bottom of the screen with the ITM trading information. But what I want to share, I did an interview with Lynette recently, a few months ago, when we established this partnership. And I asked her for other people, because I did a strategy call with ITM. I really enjoyed what I learned and asked Lynette if I could offer and afford the same opportunity to all my subscribers and viewers here on Rice TVX, and we've formed a partnership. So I asked her, what can people expect with these strategy calls? And I wanted to share that real quick. While I'm doing that, I'm going to take a real quick restroom break. This video is about 2 minutes long. But if you don't mind, Lynette, would you kind of go over briefly what it is you guys offer at ITM Trading with these gold and silver strategy calls?
Oh, absolutely. Because the goal is to help people put their best interest first. You shouldn't really just trust somebody blindly. That's why I always give links in all of my videos. I'm giving you my opinion based upon my research. And one of the things, I've been studying currencies and currency life cycles, which makes me really unique in the industry, frankly, since 1987. And once you start doing that, what you see are repeatable patterns. So the strategy is based on historically repeatable patterns. It's not rocket science. But if we are doing the same thing that they've done 4,800 times over 6,000 years and have always 100% of the time gotten the same results, I'm kind of thinking that that's going to be true this time. This time is not different. And I think it should be pretty apparent to everybody that we are transitioning into a completely new system. And so what you want when you enter that system is you want to be armed with an arsenal that's actually going to help you sustain your current standard of living and also potentially put you, and most likely, put you in a position to take advantage of this transition. So it really is a strategy. It's pretty simple. If it's super complicated and you can't understand, then there's always room for maybe some things that aren't necessarily in your best interest. So gold and silver are both super simple, but there are nuances. Like, I like to look at things and say, well, what if I'm right or what if I'm wrong? And if I can do something where it really doesn't matter whether or not I'm right or wrong, then that's the direction that I'm going to choose to go in, even if it costs me a little bit more, because in the long run, it could save me a whole lot and put me in a much, much better position.
Right.
So everybody at ITM has been trained in the strategy, and we can help walk you through, because what you really need to bring first are your goals. Let's put you first. What are your goals? What are your circumstances? And what do you have to work with?
I love Lynette Zang. She was the second person I interviewed on my channel when I started it back in 2018. I've interviewed her like 14, 15 times. She's awesome people, super knowledgeable. I love what ITM Trading offers, and they are a sponsor of the channel. That is a partnership that I have working with them. So I would encourage you to make sure you are taking advantage. Again, everything that we talk about on today's episode, as usual, will be linked down below in the video description, because I want you guys to do deeper dives if you want to do more research in regards to what I'm talking about on today's show. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to share, when I was talking about this study at the beginning of the video, from Fox Business, the one that finds 186 businesses being vulnerable to an SVB collapse, SVB-like collapse, and also echoing the same thing, that 190 banks could face SVB's fate, according to a new study. That study is right here, papers.ssr.in.com. I'm not going to read out the whole thing, but it's linked down below in the video description. You can download the paper. You can open the PDF in a browser. It's got the abstract. This was written on March 13th, 2023. And it was a combination of people from different universities. I encourage you, if you want to do a deeper dive, to check that out. So we left off talking about JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, basically bailing out First Republic Bank in the first move, I think, to accumulate. So, as I was saying earlier, Janet Yellen is saying that not all uninsured deposits will be protected in future bank runs. I've done videos where I've talked about bail-ins, because bailouts will lead to bail-ins. And I'll talk more about bail-ins and bailouts in a future video. But check out the must-watch crypto playlist, and I believe that video is included in there. And that is in my playlist section here on Rice TVX. The key points of this article from March 16th, 2023. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told senators the government refunds of uninsured deposits will not be extended to every bank that fails, only those that pose systemic risk to the financial system. So if the bank doesn't cause any risk, they're going to let it go. Yellen has been at the center of an emergency program to refund billions of dollars of uninsured depositors held by clients of the failed SVB and shuttered Signature Bank. But with the markets recovering somewhat, lawmakers were concerned these backstops could become a new norm for big banks, giving too big to fail banks an unfair advantage over community lenders. Again, consolidation. I encourage you to read the rest of the article. There's lots of good information in here for you to do that deeper dive. But these are the key points I wanted you to take away. The headline is pretty self-explanatory, and the next article looks like the same article, but it's not. This was from today, also from CNBC. And it talks about Treasury Secretary Yellen says the government could backstop more deposits if necessary to stop contagion. The key points from this. And let me go ahead and scroll down. It was at the American Bankers Association 2023 Washington Summit that was in D.C. today. That's what it was, the ABA, the ABA. Well, not the ABA, because ABBA's got two B's, but Same thing. So the key points, Yellen said Tuesday that the government is willing to take further action to guarantee bank deposits are safe. She noted steps that authorities already have taken to backstop depositors and said similar actions could be warranted if smaller institutions suffer deposit runs that pose a risk of contagion. Bank stocks, particularly at regional institutions, rose following the news. So what I'm going to do real quick is play that clip from Janet Yellen from earlier today. I will be playing that epic Jerome Powell speech again at the very end of the video. So be sure to stay tuned again for that. If you missed that epic Jerome Powell leaked speech that I got a hold of. But first, your favorite, Janet Yellen.
Almost 2 weeks ago, we learned of problems at two banks that could have had significant impacts on the broader banking system and the economy. The situation demanded a swift response. In the days that followed, the federal government delivered just that: decisive and forceful actions to strengthen public confidence in the U.S. banking system and protect the American economy. Our intervention was necessary to protect the broader U.S. banking system, and similar actions could be warranted if smaller institutions suffered deposit runs that pose the risk of contagion.
All right. Now, again, do appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time, because time is our most valuable asset, to watch today's live stream. Please take an opportunity, if you have not already, to click that like button. Give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying this content. Make sure you're sharing this video if you think others need to hear it. I'm trying to provide some good information, some valuable information that everybody needs to know. So I would encourage it if you guys take time to like and share. Comment after the video and let me know what you think. If you have anything that you want to add to today's conversation, I want to real quick head back over to the live chat and just see what we have going on, and then I will finish up today's video. Knows this path? I'm definitely a young star. I appreciate it. It's just a number, but my eyes are getting older, and there are things that have changed. Hazley, you take care. Definitely catch that replay. Buckshot, Tricky Creations, I'm glad that you enjoyed the clip. You just watched her on She's an awesome guest. Follow her ideas. Who did I miss? Thanks for the replay. I need to go back and watch this again. Message me. I'm not sure who you're talking about. I'm not sure what I missed there. It's good seeing people talk to each other in the chat. We had David B, DB, and Sean C. They definitely know each other. Hand pink waving. I guess some emojis don't come through, so I ended up doing that. Definitely smash that like button. I greatly appreciate it. Janet Fallon Yellen. A up Rice TV. Thank you, Red Scout. I appreciate it. Propagandoff. That is an epic username, my friend. Propagandoff. Janet is such a heroine. She saved us yet again. 100%. I couldn't agree more with you. Dimebag, I'm still unclear how you create money out of nothing. Will a signature and bank still lose that data? Not freaking possible. It's all grown up make-believe. And no, I'm not getting old. Not that old. And if I get old, that means you're getting old as well, because you're not too far behind me, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate you, Pathfinder. David B. Also, Janet Yellen makes a mean chicken casserole dish. I guess you would know, Sean. You go visit her, and she makes you chicken casserole often. I like to crypto. Do you crypto? No, I don't know anything about crypto. It's only a crypto mainly focused channel. I'm not sure if you're talking to everybody in the chat, but we're going to go ahead and finish up what we have to share on today's video. It's not much. I wanted to share something about Signature Bank, because this is something that's been talked about a lot, and I was on a recent Around the Blockchain, and I mentioned this very specifically. Because this article, if you read this article, you would think that this article has some merit to it, considering it looks like there's been kind of an attack on cryptocurrency because these banks were definitely crypto friendly, including Silvergate, which was the precursor to all of this. But this came from Decrypt, and it came out on March 14th. Why was Signature Bank really shut down? Because it was shuttered. It was literally shut down. And it says deliberate attack on the digital asset industry or run-of-the-mill regulatory action. Depends on who you want to believe. Now, the important thing that I wanted to take away from this, or that I would like for you to take away from this, is you have Barney Frank, who was a former congressman, I believe, and he was the co-author of the Dodd-Frank Act that came out of the 2008 crisis, and he's also one of the board members on Signature. And one of the things that he had said, I guess it's almost at the very bottom of the article, or I've missed it. Let's scroll back up. It looks like they've changed this article and updated it since I've covered it last. But you can't update and change what was said in the tweet. The tweet says, for his part, Frank, who helped draft the landmark Dodd-Frank Act after the 2008 financial crisis, said there's no real objective reason that Signature had to be seized. I think part of what happened was that regulators wanted to send a very strong anti-crypto message, Frank said. We became the poster boy because there was no insolvency based on fundamentals. So if you would have read that article, you would have thought that Signature Bank was shuttered because it was sending a message to the crypto industry, an anti-crypto message to the mainstream. That's what you would think. But if you did a little bit more digging, you would see from the Hill on the 15th of March, Signature had criminal investigation looming before it collapsed, said a report. And the report said that the Justice Department offices of Manhattan and Washington were investigating whether the bank took enough measures to detect possible money laundering schemes orchestrated by clients, according to people familiar with the matter. Signature Bank was seized by the New York Department of Financial Services on Sunday to protect depositors after its customers withdrew billions from the bank after the Silicon Valley collapse on Friday. The bank had an $89 billion in deposits end of last year, according to the department, but more than $79 billion of those deposits were not insured by the FDIC. So as you can see, there's more to the story. Now, again, the reason why I'm saying this collapse is really just beginning, it's coming and getting worse, is because we have trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in total U.S. bank deposits. And there's no way that the FDIC and the federal government can cover $250,000 on all those accounts. Or because obviously some of those accounts aren't going to have $250,000 balances, but it's covered up to $250,000. So if you had $1 million, it would cover $250,000 of that million. Count how many U.S. citizens are of legal age that have a bank account, and how many of those have over $250,000, and how many times the government would have to pay out. It would bankrupt the FDIC, bankrupt the U.S. government. It's impossible. That's why I'm saying this thing is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. So before we wrap things up, I'm going to come back to the chat here in just a moment. I want to share all those video clips that I shared earlier on today's video. But the bottom line, Jack.
Look, the bottom line is this. Americans can rest assured that our banking system is safe. Your deposits are safe.
And here, I'll play it again for you. Sean, if you're still here watching, listening from New World, this is for you. This is the epic leak speech from Fed Chair Powell.
Good morning. First off, Fuck your bitch and the click you claim. I am here today, despite the blackout before FOMC, to tell you regards not to pump the market. If you pump the market, I will have to bitch slap you on Wednesday. Let me take this opportunity to tell you that I already sold at the top, and me and my fellow Fed buddies are looking to get back in long once the market bottoms at 3,600. Yeah, that's the JPM collar put leg for those of you keeping track at home. Me and Jamie Dimon planned for this. So if you WSB twats pump the market Monday and Tuesday because you've been listening to Jam Croissant and Believe in Vanna and Charm Flows, I'm going to put on my Walker mask and come fuck your moms on Wednesday. Also, we are going to bail out the banks, but you fuckwads better not pump the stock market on this news. Okay, enough. I gotta go. I got an appointment. Nick from Wall Street Journal is coming over to suck my dick for some scoops. Always remember, fuck your puts, fuck your calls. Jay Powell has you by the balls. God bless my money printer.
That is, I don't think I'm ever going to tire of that piece of art. Those words that really, truly came out of Fed Chair Jerome Powell's mouth. That is legit. That is a Rice TVX exclusive. And if you enjoyed that, take time to hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed already, I ask, what are you waiting for? Make sure you're subscribed here, as well as my other channel, Rice Against the Grain. And I got that information scrolling on the very bottom of the screen. If you want to take advantage of my fundraiser that I'm doing for my private website, I'm not going to be using private servers. I ran into an issue with that. I've contacted the people that have already became members. I'm having the site. I'm finalizing a designer this week so I can have the site being designed and hopefully operational in the next few weeks. That's the goal. If you want to participate, there's about 13 spots left right now out of the 50. And what I'm offering is lifetime access to that website. I'm also putting together some swag from Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain, very limited edition swag. And that's going to be for only 50 people, 13 spots left. Email ricemediagroup@protonmail.com and put lifetime in the subject line. If you're interested, 13 spots are remaining. You'll get early access to my videos, exclusive content. In the meantime, until the website is built, I'll send out those emails directly. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, that is how you can do so. Want to go ahead and check out what everybody has to say on today's video. Then we're going to wrap up the live stream, leave off where we came at with the last part of the chat that I was covering. I know that didn't make any sense, but it did to me. Red Scout. It's different to what you think. Sometimes I'm catching in conversations that people are having with each other, and I have no clue what's being said. Red Scout says a crypt is a room under a church where the dead are buried. Cryptocurrency, the worship of money, not the creator. Red Scout, my friend, we're going to do a little bit of education here. Study etymology. Just because a word sounds like something doesn't mean it means what it sounds like. The word cryptocurrency and cryptography have nothing to do with an underground room under a church or anything to that matter. It comes from a Greek word of kryptos, and it's spelled Kruptos, and it literally means secret or hidden. So secret or hidden currency, if you want to be technical, not currency of the dead or anything to that effect. It's not cryptocurrency. It's crypto. And crypto comes from kryptos, the Greek. And again, hidden or secret. So I hope you learned something today, my friend. David said, I sold all of Chris's favorite coin today. Look for a retrace to buy back in now. I'm assuming you're talking about XRP. The blood of my blood says, put the cash in credit unions, let these big banks fail. I say, keep your cash, invest in things that you can barter with. Copper, Very cheap right now. You could buy a shit ton of copper coins, copper bars. Got a 1 ounce copper bar here that I got courtesy of Satoshi Sean. So I wouldn't necessarily say 100% because I would have to do some digging, Michael, to find out how much the insurance covers with the credit unions, and same thing. Would it be able to cover all the depositors? That's what I'd be curious to know. I have not done enough digging to even say 100% sure. What little I have that isn't in crypto is in the local credit union. Who gives podcasts and videos on crypto? Who does? I don't know. Who does that? We're going to regulate several projects out of existence. That is very possible. Projects that have heads. Truly decentralized projects, you're not going to be able to go after anybody. The trend is your friend. New World. Hope that was in reference to the awesome Jerome Powell exclusive that you got to hear there. Can the IRS tax Bitcoin 99%? What is that? J-Mac, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Buckshot. Dimebag, thank you. And you're only covered up to 100K. That makes me want to withdraw all my money. 18 trillion, I think, to cover. Right. Again, look at how much money we have. You would have to print it up. You would have to print it up. Fiery Gary Gensler. Propaganda off again, man. I love that. I love that username. I cannot get over it. Sam Storm, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad everybody enjoyed that. I'm glad I got to bring a little bit of laughter to your day. Tomorrow we have that FOMC meeting with Chair Powell, where he's going to be talking about what the Federal Reserve is going to do with interest rates. A lot of people are pricing in a 25 basis points rate hike. I don't think it's going to be zero. But again, it's the rate hikes that are causing the problems for these banks. It's not as if like SVB did something, and I'm not saying everything they did was completely fail-safe, but investing in treasury bonds is not generally considered anything risky. It's only in a situation where these interest rates are getting raised up that it caused that much more of a problem. So it was the Federal Reserve that caused this problem, and now they're backstopping the problem that they created to get rid of the smaller banks, to consolidate all the banks into smaller number of banks. So it's just that much easier to control because Fed now is going to be launching in July. That's not the CBDC, as far as I can tell, but it will lead to the CBDC. And then I did that video that had my two little buddies on the cover. I want to pull my two little buddies up. You guys might remember these two little guys right here. They're on the cover of a thumbnail. Watch that video because they're trying, when I say they, different lobbyists and people within the Uniform Commercial Code, the UCC law, are trying to make an amendment to the UCC code on state levels to change the definition of money to not include Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but to include central bank digital currencies. And I'll be talking more about that on the video coming out tomorrow, because we've had another politician, in addition to Governor Noem, step out and talk negatively about central bank digital currencies, and that's the current governor of Florida, Governor DeSantis. We got to figure out some names for these two guys. So you got Red Eye Guy and Brown Eye Guy. Comment down below what you think we should call Red Eye Guy and Brown Eye Guy here, because they're going to be regulars on the show. Because when I say something bad or I'm about to do something that the algorithm may not like, he's going to come in and remind me. He's going to say. But you couldn't hear that because he was using his telepathy. I do hope you're enjoying today's video. I will give you a sneak peek real quick, just a quick sneak peek of the thumbnail for tomorrow's video, because I really love this thumbnail. It's one of my favorite thumbnails I've ever created so far. So I'm going to show it like for a second. Oh, that was your sneak peek. That's all you get to see. This is something that I wanted to also share. This is a graphic that I had gotten off of Twitter, and I can't remember the specific account, but I've seen it being shared amongst many people. We'll go ahead and get rid of my logo here in the corner because we are going to be wrapping up here in just a moment. But tighter credit conditions are coming. All banks to the right of SVB are likely to immediately start reorganizing their balance sheets. All of those banks. So again, that's why I'm saying we have the banking collapse coming. The dominoes have already started to fall. That's basically the Federal Reserve on the thumbnail there. And I won't teach you guys. I'll give you like 3 seconds of this thumbnail. 1, 2, 3. Isn't that beautiful? That's going to be for tomorrow's video. Going to be recording that tonight because I have a busy day tomorrow. Tomorrow again at 2:00 p.m. Eastern time, as I think when Jerome Powell will be doing a speech sometime around then or soon after to announce what the Federal Reserve is going to do with the interest rate hikes from the FOMC meeting. They're meeting today, tomorrow, and tomorrow is the announcement. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Before we do wrap up, I'm going to go ahead real quick and see what everybody had to say in the live chat, and then we're going to end this thing. See where we left off. I was hoping I would see something from Red Scout, but no. Definitely won't. Get prepared like your central bank. Yes, banks. I did do a video saying, why are banks buying so much gold? Again, I was trying to stay on top of this. Stereo 2, good seeing you in your house. Rice, on a serious note, thanks so much for all the time, hard work, and research to provide all of us with essential information like this. You rock, brother. Thank you for saying that. You definitely have an idea because you have helped me out with the channel, so you have a good idea of what's going on. Do we have Rocco in the house? And if so, which username is Rocco's? Because I'm scrolling up and I'm not seeing it. But I see Sean C, and I'm assuming you're talking about Rocco from Sin City. If you are, Rocco, who are you? Where are you? Sin City is a great channel. If you guys aren't subscribed to Sin City Crypto, and Rocco is their producer. I hit him up just recently about some information about digital cameras. Maybe that would be Stereo 2. Stereo 2, is that you? CBDC equals kleptocurrency. Good one. Cryptocurrency, bring out your dad, bring out your dead. Crypto night. Credit unions will go before big banks. TD Freelancer asked just a quick question. Can the government force us to use BDCs? Just so confused by it all. When enough people take a stand, nothing can stand against the people, and everything happens because of the consent of the governed. That's why I've been telling people with the CBDC that you may need to write to your politicians. You may need to get involved, whether politically or whether trying to promote politicians that are promoting your agendas that you would like to see pass through the government institutions. With the way that the system works, we have to make our voice heard. The video that I did with the lizard people on the cover, it was this thumbnail right here. That video goes over that UCC law. And what's alarming about that was Governor Noem, what she was saying in that interview with Tucker Carlson, is that she doesn't even think that the state legislatures read this amendment change or proposed amendment to the UCC. It was over 110 pages. And just reading a few paragraphs, you're like, oh, there's no way I'm going to read this much. But it's these legislatures and politicians' jobs to make sure they're reading through it. But they're accepting money from lobbyists and other organizations. And instead of reading it, these individuals who are paying them and filling their pockets are like, just pass it through. There's nothing in here out of the ordinary. It's just a bunch of regular basic stuff to update us to the digital age. And then they're slipping something through that makes cryptocurrency and Bitcoin illegal for all business transactions and commerce in those states. And then if it was passed all statewide, which is the point of universal commercial code, is it would just basically make it illegal to use Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in any business or commerce transactions. It doesn't affect the peer-to-peer aspect, but if I wanted to, let's say if Walmart or Amazon or any other company wanted to accept Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, they wouldn't legally be allowed to do so. And Ron DeSantis opposing the CBDC and wanting to put in legislation to oppose it and to oppose surveillance state, Big Brother, CBDC can only go so far. Because at some point, if they do want to convert over because people haven't made their voice heard or taken a stand against the things that they don't want to see happen, because people need to protest. I mean, there are things that were provided in our Constitution that we have rights to be able to do to make our voices heard in multiple different ways. People can take clips from these videos that I do or other people. I mean, and you don't have to make the videos yourself. We all have roles to play. But ultimately, if we don't make our voice heard, then these politicians are going to push through what they're being paid to push through. And we have Governor Noem, who stood up in South Dakota, vetoed that bill, the UCC amendment. And then Ron DeSantis is now putting his legislation through. That UCC amendment legislation has not been introduced in Florida, but he's doing this as a precursor to fight it. But if the government was to say, in the instance, and this has nothing with whether or not we stand, but if the government introduces a central bank digital currency and they tell Florida that all their funding and repayment of that funding is going to have to be in a central bank digital currency, regardless of if DeSantis makes it legislation as not lawful, he's not going to be able to negotiate the terms. Unfortunately, in order for Florida to get that funding, which Florida has been receiving funding and having to pay back funding as well, they will be forced to do so in a central bank digital currency. So when it comes from the political spectrum, state rights always, they should trump everything else, but they don't seem to. And that's where the fuckery is taking place with our federal government. The monster, the creature from Jekyll Island has taken over. Speaking of that, I am going to be interviewing Mr. G. Edward Griffin for the third time, the author of The Creature from Jekyll Island, tomorrow. And I will be releasing that immediately, unedited, for early access on my Patreon channel and for private members. So I will remind you here in just a moment. I'll come back up to the rest of the live chat here in just a moment. I have information scrolling across the bottom of the screen with my Patreon information. If you're going to join Patreon, only join month by month. I am phasing my Patreon channel 90 days after I launch the private website. If you would like to participate in the fundraiser for the private website, once again, this is the information on how you can do so. It's $100. You get lifetime access plus that swag bag I'm putting together of limited edition Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain swag. Email me at ricemediagroup@protonmail.com and put lifetime or lifetime access in the subject line. And again, the Patreon information is scrolling on the bottom of the screen. I'll probably release the G. Edward Griffin interview next week. I'm also maybe traveling to Florida next week, so I may not be putting out as much content, but I will update everybody, especially people who are patrons and private members. I will be updating everybody as to what's going to be happening next week on both channels. So once again, make sure you are subscribed to both channels, Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain. Going to finish it up with the live chat, and then we're going to wrap up today's video. TrueLiant FCU based here does that. I'm not sure what TrueLiant FCU is, but TrueLiant, I was with BB&T and they got bought out by TrueLiant, and they're one of the top 10 banks in the United States. So they may get bigger. One of the things I do know is that they do have a reserve where banks have no reserve requirement. And TD Freelancer, I hope I answered that question. I'll see if you said anything here at the bottom of the chat. Web3, this is the consolidation. Big bank, take little bank, 100%. Credit unions are typically private. They only tend to lend to members. So not any Tom, Dick, or Harry get loans from them, but mine is a standard $250K covered. Is it covered by FDIC or is it covered by that insurance that I mentioned, the NCUA, the National Credit Union Administration? Stereo 2, I like to buy junk silver coins and search through dates. Appreciate rule. Buckshot XRP up 20%. Early May. Early May. It's funny how they may never address how they are the ones that cause the problems. Isn't it funny? It's a little ironic. A little cray-cray. All right, let me see here. That brown-eyed guy is an asshole. Bleep, bloop. Definitely. All right. The Fed is definitely stuck. I agree. TW, make sure you comment this after the video. Red eye guy Slick and brown eye guy Guru. What's going on, David M? Is Fed going to choose a winner tomorrow? Thanks to the dollar. I think they're going to be playing middle ground and 25 basis point rate hike. That way they look like they're still doing something and they're not really pushing that hard with the banks. That would be my opinion. Prior to the banking issue, I said 50 basis points, easy. I actually would have gone up to 75, but considering everything that's went on, 25 basis point is my call for tomorrow. Thank you, DB. I appreciate it. Yeah, this chat is definitely slow, and I'm trying to play catch up, so I'm in Vegas. I texted earlier. Did you text me earlier today? I don't know. I do see I have a missed notification, so maybe that was you. I will check, and if that was you, I will respond. The great eclipse that we're talking, not this great. We have an eclipse coming up. I don't have the specific dates except for the next one. April 20th. We have one in October, and we have one in April 2023. I cover that on the most recent video that I did with Waters Above. If you haven't watched that most recent video from last week with Waters Above, check that out. Yeah, definitely for your pets too. Great recommendations that I'm not going to read out loud that people can 100% see. Gulag U.S. reserve status is what is on the line, 100%. We're losing it. We're in the process right now. I mean, BRICS nation banks, another video that I'm going to be doing maybe this week. If not, I'll be doing it next week. Is the BRIC nations bank with their global reserve currency, what they're doing, and the nations that are applying to join, which would include Mexico. BRICS currency will be live by fall and is being backed by gold. Yep. Yes, sir. Again, this will be the third time that G. Edwards on the show. I do have a playlist in the playlist section specifically for G. Edward Griffin that you can check out, or you can check out this playlist called Freedom Activists. In that playlist, I have many freedom emojis, mainly older ones, but freedom emojis nonetheless. A few more things to cover on the chats, and then we're wrapping up because I was definitely planning on having this video be done by now. Definitely planned a long time ago, and definitely a well-played game of chess as far as like, I mean, just looking at just the Federal Reserve to now, the creation of the Federal Reserve was like early 1900s. It finalized 1913, but early 1900s, like 1906, 1907 is when I think the idea was being introduced. And the idea was to be the buyer and lender of last resort. And since the Federal Reserve has gotten into power, the dollar has lost the majority of its purchasing power, like somewhere around like 98% of its purchasing power, something like that. Whereas an ounce of gold used to be worth $20 in 1920. Up until the confiscation, an ounce of gold was equal to $20 roughly. You can still buy a nice suit today with an ounce of gold, but you cannot buy a nice suit for $20. In fact, you can probably barely buy a used suit at Goodwill for $20 these days. So that's the difference in what's happened. So this has been by design. The plan is definitely a long time ago, and it's been playing out through generations, and it's insane. It's definitely insane. I'm not even sure which insurance covers it. I'll have to look. Yeah, let me know. I definitely would like to know. Truliant has a YouTube video and paperwork on crypto. They aren't all in, but they aren't against it, and they give basic advice on investing safely in crypto. I should check that out. I think that Truliant was part of the bank. I can't remember how many banks it was, but they were part of the digital dollar pilot that I think just ended not too long ago. And I'm going to be trying to do some more research on that so I can do an update video on the digital dollar. Don't trust the government 100%. Amber says, I'm not sure what to do. I started getting into gold backs, but I have nothing right now. Looking into UPMA, the system is so overwhelming. Alternatives are underwhelming. I'm not sure what UPMA is. Amber, you're more than welcome to hit me up. Gold backs, I mean, they're cool, but I would actually encourage you, to get real. I mean, not that gold backs aren't real, but gold coins, or because you can get fractional coins, you can get 10th ounces, quarter ounces, half ounces, and more, and silver. Also, I would encourage you to stock up on lead and copper, because those two could be really good for bartering for things that you may need, in addition to stocking up on foods that you might need, foods that you can, non-perishable foods that you can stock up on. RE 925 thrift, get some silver in your pocket. Michael is saying the Silicon Valley Bank gave out loans to bad investments, much of which never turned a profit. Yeah, it was a combination of things. It was a combination, 100%. Tomorrow we will see 25 basis points moving up. I'm in agreement with that. Definitely, I follow Gregory Manarino, and I would encourage other people to as well. I would encourage you to follow as many people that you can and form your own opinion based off of what you're learning from others, the information they're providing. Again, everything that I talked about today is linked down below so that you could do a deeper dive, so that you don't have to trust what I'm saying about what I said. You can verify all that information. And that's why I encourage you guys to share this information with others. Many people are oblivious to the coming turmoil. It's our responsibility to do our best to wake people up. XRP is up today. I have to look at the charts. I haven't really been paying attention, but it has been up. There's been a lot of speculation as to what's going on with the case. We have to see what is happening tomorrow for sure. They're stealing copper from church and neighborhood already. I'm not sure what you're meaning by that, but that's interesting if people are stealing from churches. Definitely not cool. Take advantage of my partnership with ITM Trading. I shared information throughout the live stream. I'm not going to share any more about it. Before we wrap up today's video, I was going to see if there was anything else that I wanted to share video clip wise. I think that's about it. Except for, the bottom line, Jack.
Look, the bottom line is this. Americans can rest assured that our banking system is safe. Your deposits are safe.
You can rest assured, so you can sleep sound at night, knowing that President Joe Biden has got this all under control. Interesting times, my friends. Copper pipes. Damn, that is crazy, dude. Karen Schweigart Harris, definitely catch that replay. Thieves are cutting the copper pipes and lines out of homes, businesses, and churches. Damn. Be smart, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Make sure you're catching up on any content you might have missed. Make sure you subscribe to both Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain channels. Are linked down below in the video description. I'll put them in the pinned comment section. Head over to ricetvx.com and sign up for my mailing list so you never miss an update or new Rice content. I'm going to be figuring out a new place to start utilizing for my newsletter. I may change over to Substack, but as I'm getting the website redesigned, I'm going to be figuring out which service I'm going to be using for my mailing list, and any emails that I have currently, I will import them into that. So if you don't want to miss any updates, I'll be sending out weekly updates per week to update you about all things Rice. ricetvx.com. Sign up for the mailing list. Thank you for tuning in for today's video. I greatly appreciate it. Please share this video with other people. They need to hear this information. I know it's a long video. Tell them they can put it on higher speed to listen to it faster. We got to look out for one another, ladies and gentlemen. I want to wrap things up and end it with this. I encourage you, as always, to be a blessing to others. Treat people how you want to be treated. Be the glitch that you want to see in the matrix. Be the change that you want to see in the world. And until next time, practice change.
Good morning. First off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim. I am here today, despite the blackout before FOMC, to tell you regards not to pump the market. If you pump the market, I will have to bitch slap you on Wednesday. Let me take this opportunity to tell you that I already sold at the top, and me and my fellow Fed buddies are looking to get back in long once the market bottoms at 3,600. Yeah, that's the JPM collar put leg for those of you keeping track at home. Me and Jamie Dimon planned for this. So if you WSB twats pump the market Monday and Tuesday because you've been listening to Jam Croissant and Believe in Vanna and Charm Flows, I'm going to put on my Walker mask and come fuck your moms on Wednesday. Also, we are going to bail out the banks, but you fuckwads better not pump the stock market on this news. Okay, enough. I gotta go. I got an appointment. Nick from Wall Street Journal is coming over to suck my dick for some scoops. Always remember, fuck your putts, fuck your calls. Jay Powell has you by the balls. God bless my money printer.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.